Tonight on Huckabee, Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan. John Carter Cash celebrates his iconic father. Mesmerizing magic with Jason Hudy. Country rock band November Blue. That's Trey Corley in the Music City Connection. And I'm your announcer, Keith Bilbrey. And now, here's Mike Huckabee!
And welcome, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving to you all. I hope that you're getting all geared up for turkey this week. I'm going to be deep frying one and putting one in the smoker because I have a big family coming over to my house this Thanksgiving, and I'm going to load them up with turkey. And you know one of the reasons why? You say, because it's Thanksgiving. Oh, that's just part of it. The other is turkey has tryptophan. You know what that does? It makes you sleepy. And if I fill up my whole house full of kids and family with tryptophan, they'll all go to sleep and be quiet. And that's why I'm doing 2 types of turkeys for Thanksgiving this year. A little tip for you, no charge for that. But I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving with your family. And if you're traveling, be careful, have a good time, and please be prepared to sell a kidney just to fill up the gasoline tank in your car, because it may require it. Well, I was in Georgia this week campaigning for Herschel Walker in his runoff against Raphael Warnock. I'm glad you're happy about that, because I was. I don't know if you know this, but Warnock is a pro-abortion pastor. Now, for me, that's something I just can't understand. How can you be a pastor and stand for the weak and the vulnerable and then think that it is okay to kill the most vulnerable of all, an unborn baby, right up until the time of birth? And having the ever-leaning to the loony left Democrats with more seats in the Senate means confirming more wacko judges who say they don't know what a woman is, or who believe that we can just keep counting votes until we get the result we want. That's why this race is so important. Last week, I was so glad to have Arizona governor candidate Kari Lake on our show. But I was so sad that Arizona finally decided, after 8 days of counting votes, that the Democrat Secretary of State, Katie Hobbs, had miraculously defied the polls and won the race for governor. It sure helped that Katie Hobbs was in charge of running the election and counting the votes. Now, I'd like to think that the people of Arizona are truly embarrassed that it took their state more than a week to count votes. Florida, a much more populous state, the 3rd largest in the country, counted their votes in just a few hours and without any controversy. By the way, so did Georgia. And that's even after Stacey Abrams said that voting law reforms would suppress voting. It turns out that a record number of people voted in Georgia. So much for suppressing voters. Maybe somebody ought to suppress Stacey Abrams and urge her to sit the next one out. Yeah. By the way, I saw something on social media that said that 180 million people were able to vote for American Idol in less than an hour, but Arizona couldn't get it done in 8 days. I thought that pretty sums it up, huh? Well, the new label for trying to paint someone as stupid, extreme, or just being certifiably crazy is to call them an election denier. I mean, any candidate who dared question the 2020 election, not saying it was rigged, just questioning if it was all on the up and up, they're considered to be an election denier. Now, the press had the audacity to headline any news story about a very impressive Kari Lake as election denier Kari Lake, and then finish the story. It's the equivalent of calling someone a racist, a fascist, homophobe, transphobe, or a threat to democracy. I want you to know, I am absolutely not an election denier, because I really do believe we have had elections. Therefore, I don't deny elections. I don't deny they happened, but I do wonder about the integrity of a process that takes days and days of looking for and amazingly finding ballots to put a Democrat over the top who was behind. President Trump, this week, he announced he would run for re-election in 2024. Big news of the week. You know, I love him and I deeply appreciate what he achieved as president. I really do. No one has ever come through more for energy independence, giving us the lowest fuel prices in decades, cutting stifling regulations on business, securing the border, moving the U.S. Embassy in Israel to Jerusalem, or recognizing the Golan Heights as being part of Israel. He cut taxes on everyone, saw dramatic economic growth until the Chinese unleashed a virus on the world. He gave us the most dramatic turn in the Supreme Court, and he's been the strongest ever president on the sanctity of every human life. Having recognized all that, I'll be honest, I'm not going to think about engaging in the 2024 race officially until we get that Georgia Senate race behind us. I kind of wish President Trump might have waited until then as well. But quite frankly, if he hopes to win a second term, I just hope he unites the party by maybe lowering the insults to other Republicans and just focus on restoring civil order to our major cities, stopping the millions pouring across our southern border, and getting us back to affordable and available American energy. But hey, there's plenty of time to sort all that out. There may be some other people running for the Republican nomination against Donald Trump, and you know what? Having a primary, it can be healthy for the party. Gets the candidates to get conditioned for the big time. But now that President Trump has said he will be running, I hope he'll spend the next few weeks helping Herschel Walker and every other Republican still out there trying to make sure that all the legal votes are being counted. But one thing I won't do, one thing I just will not do, is to be an election denier. Because I certainly believe we've had elections. But I also believe there's been some funny stuff happening in some of these states. And I wonder if the people there deny that. If so, I'll call them election scandal deniers. And that ain't no compliment. Well, as disappointing as the 2022 midterm results have been, we do have the silver lining that Republicans have officially won a majority, however slim, in the House of Representatives. That means Nancy Pelosi is now officially retiring. With this majority, Republicans are better poised to stymie Joe Biden's radical agenda. And in case you were fooled by his half-dead delivery, yes, he's pretty radical. After the break, Congressman Jim Jordan joins us to talk about what Republicans can do with that House majority. Don't you dare go away. We'll be right back.
Huckabee.com and sign up for his free newsletter and follow @GovMikeHuckabee on Twitter.
Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan has served as ranking member of the House Judiciary Committee for years. But with Republicans taking control of the House of Representatives in January, Jim Jordan is set to become Judiciary Committee Chairman, one of the most powerful positions in our government. He says real accountability is coming, and we're very happy to have Congressman Jim Jordan with us tonight. Congressman, I watched the press conference that you conducted talking about what's up for a real inquiry and investigation into accountability for government agencies. Can you assure us you guys are serious about this?
Yeah, good to be with you, Governor. Yeah, we got to be serious about it because, you know, we live in the greatest country in history. America's the greatest nation ever, but it's not America if you have a Justice Department that is not treating people equally under the law. And I would argue that's what we have now. And I tell folks, you don't need to take my opinion or my words for it. Listen to what 14 FBI agents who've come to us, the Judiciary Committee, as whistleblowers and told us about what's going on. One whistleblower told us that at the highest levels of the FBI, the Washington field office, it is rotted at its core. Now think about that language. And so this is why we have to do the investigation, because step one into changing their behavior and beginning to hold people accountable and to make sure that the Justice Department is actually treating people equally under our law is to get the facts out there, get the truth out there, so the American people knows exactly what their government's been up to, and specifically the Justice Department has been up to. So we're committed to doing this because this is I think, at the heart of what our great country is really all about.
Even Christopher Wray, the FBI director, acknowledged that over 70% of the acts of violence since the Dobbs decision reversing Roe v. Wade, 70% of them have been against the pro-life community. 107 pro-life centers have been attacked, firebombed, vandalized. I don't know of the FBI doing much about that, but they go and arrest a 87-year-old grandmother, concentration camp survivor, with armed weapons. And I'm just asking myself, what is up with a government that would do that?
Yeah, and they kick in the door of a pro-life leader outside of Philadelphia, arrest him in front of his wife and 7 children, when the local judge and local law enforcement said he did nothing wrong. The FBI did that. So frankly, that's probably someone we want to talk to. Who's the U.S. attorney in that district that, we're putting together a list of folks we think are important for us to bring in for a conversation, for a deposition, or what we call transcribed interviews. I'd kind of like to talk, I think, to that person, find out what was the basis of that. Meanwhile, as you point out, Governor, after the leaked opinion, the Dobbs opinion was leaked, and we had all this activity going on, churches, crisis pregnancy centers, and of course, what was going on outside of Supreme Court justices' homes, with the design being to intimidate them and change the decision that was leaked. It seems nothing happens there. So this is wrong. And you couple it with other things. The first whistleblower who came to us, the very first one, talked about the FBI and what was going on with investigating moms and dads who were showing up at school board meetings advocating for their kids. I mean, think about that. One mom was investigated because she was in the group Moms for Liberty. Well, for goodness sake, that's probably half the country that think the way that lady does. So this is wrong, and we know it's wrong. We know that over 24 parents were investigated by the FBI. So this is something we think we just have to get into and make sure that we, by getting into it, hopefully cause it to stop.
Congressman, it's not isolated. I mean, this is encompassing not just the investigation of parents of pro-life people. This is a law enforcement community, Department of Justice, FBI, that investigated the elected president, the sitting president, and a former president, all the same person, sought to keep him from getting elected, sought to disrupt his presidency, and continued to make false accusations that he was in collusion with Russia, filed false documents. I mean, this is serious stuff. This is not just pranks in a college fraternity. This is trying to essentially stage a coup d'etat against an elected president. So I know there are some Republicans that are saying, I don't want you guys to get into all these investigations and act like the Democrats. I don't want you to act like the Democrats, but by gosh, Congressman, I do want you to do the investigations. I want our country to operate as a constitutional republic and not some banana republic.
Plus, it's our constitutional duty. We're going to take an oath of office on January 3rd when the new Congress is sworn in. And part of our oath is to the Constitution. Part of that duty is to make sure we do the oversight so the country gets the truth and the facts about what their government's been up to. And I had a colleague, Matt Gaetz, had a great line, an accurate line in a committee hearing a couple months ago. He said, when is the FBI just going to stay out of the elections and let we the people decide? In 2016, they spied on President Trump's campaign. In 2018, it was the Mueller investigation. In 2020, they were part of the effort to suppress the Hunter Biden story just days before the presidential election. And then, of course, in the 2022 midterms, 91 days before the election, they raid the home of former President Trump. I mean, maybe it'd be nice if they just stayed out of it and let the country, let the people decide who we want leading us, who we want representing us. Just stay out of the election process like you're supposed to, and let we, the people, decide who's going to be in our government.
In addition to your chairing the Judiciary Committee, you're also on the Oversight Committee, which is going to be the other critically important committee looking at some of the finances, not of Hunter Biden, but Joe Biden. And I'm so tired of the press saying, well, why are we investigating Hunter Biden? You really aren't. You're investigating whether Hunter Biden's business activities with the Communist Chinese Party actually involved the sitting president of the United States, Joe Biden. I think that's a pretty serious thing to know.
Yeah, it sure is. When you're, I mean, as you point out, Governor, when you're talking about China and Russia, our adversaries, and all the business dealings that the president's family, it wasn't just his son involved in this business operation, it was his brother as well. And there are 150 suspicious activity reports, SAR, suspicious activity reports, and these are reports on suspicious banking activity. We have only seen 2. Now, here's the interesting thing. The Biden administration has changed the protocols and policy and process for people to see these suspicious activity reports. Used to be congressional committees could have access to that and see that information until the Biden administration. So they've changed the policy. So the committee staff and committee has only seen 2 of those. Frankly, we'd like to see the other 148 because the 2 we've seen, pretty darn suspicious activity going on, money being transferred from multiple accounts, different things. And it's so much so that J.P. Morgan sent us the suspicious activity report to the Treasury Department. So this, I think, just raises all kinds of concerns. First, the Biden administration has not complied with any request that Mr. Comer and the Oversight Committee have sent to him. Second, they changed the policy. And now we learned this week that they've set up this special operation that they're going to attack those of us who are trying to get the truth to the American people.
How frustrating is it that the press seems to ignore this story? They even take the White House at its word, who released a statement saying this is all debunked conspiracy theories. And that's what you get from the press.
Yeah.
That ought to be concerned about this and curious about it.
Yeah, you would think a real press would do that, but the mainstream press doesn't seem to. I would bet at that press conference, that's probably the first time the Washington press corps actually heard the facts. It's probably the first time they actually kind of had to report on some of the facts. And my guess is it's probably also the first time that they realized, wow, this really isn't Russian disinformation like they told us 2 years ago.
Congressman, I am looking forward. I'm going to pop some popcorn, get a good seat, and watch these hearings. I cannot tell you how grateful I am that you are where you are and chairing that committee, because I've got confidence that you're not going to let these guys get away with it. Thank you very much for joining us, and happy Thanksgiving to you and your family.
Same to you, and thanks for all the good work you're doing for the country.
You can learn more about Congressman Jim Jordan online when you head over to Huckabee.tv. We have links to all of the Congressman's social media, his website, and the work that he's doing, not just for the people of Ohio, which he certainly is, but frankly, for all Americans as the chairman of the Judiciary Committee. Keith Bilbrey, why don't you tell us what we've got coming up for the rest of the night?
Well, John Carter Cash reveals the spiritual journey of his legendary father, Johnny Cash. That's coming up next on Huckabee.
You know, one of the great things about being in the studio audience, for those of you that probably need to come and get tickets, is you get to hear a whole lot more of the music of Trey Corley and the Music City Connection. Just like they brought us in with the Doobie Brothers, Listen to the Music, well, you get to hear a whole bunch of it. I think it's one of the best parts of our whole show because we just happen to have the very best band in America on the Huckabee Show, Trey Corley and the Music City Connection. Well, speaking of music, most of us grew up knowing my next guest as the son of 2 of the greatest names in country music, Johnny and June Carter Cash. Now he's an award-winning producer, author, and singer-songwriter in his own right. And he's involved in a fantastic new documentary coming to theaters December 5th, 6th, and 7th. It's called Johnny Cash, The Redemption of an American Icon. It is such an honor to welcome back to the show, John Carter Cash. Great to have you back.
Man, I am honored to be here. Thank you for having me, Governor.
You know,
I'm glad to be here.
I can't even imagine how difficult it is to be the son of two of the most famous people in the music industry and two of the most beloved people in the music industry.
Yeah, my parents, they really never lost their upbringing. They stayed close to home and close to the heart. Of course, they had faith, and they stayed close to that also. But it made it that much easier, to not feel elated or apart from, because they considered the world their family, I think.
Well, and they were always just giving that sense of graciousness and kindness and love for their fans.
Yes, sir.
But was it hard for you growing up and everywhere you went, oh, I want to get your dad's autograph. Oh, I want to see your mom. That has to be a pressure.
Well, my father had a separation, I think, between stardom and the cash image, and then who he was at home, and my mother did also, but they were genuine, but yeah, I mean, there were times I think that I struggled to try to figure out who I was and where I was headed, and whether I wanted to be like my father or do something of my own independently. But I've always loved music, and so it's led me to music along the path, and I'm grateful to be where I am.
It would almost be insane if you didn't have some connection to music. People would say you denied your genetics. I mean,
yeah. Well, I produce music. I do a lot of production, but I've actually worked with Loretta Lynn in the latter part of her life. I worked more with Loretta than I have any other artist in my life. And I produce music videos, also direct, and so I do a lot of different things.
When you had Thanksgiving at the Cash home, was it normal? Was there a normal kind of Thanksgiving for you guys, or did it resemble something different?
Yeah, it was family, I mean, there were plenty of quote-unquote stars that were my father's friends.
Yeah.
They were always around, and it wasn't unusual to be to be at a table with Christopherson or Bono from U2. You just didn't know what would be next one day to the other. But for one thing, it helped me to separate the fact that no matter where we put somebody on a pedestal, we're all the same. We still wake up in the morning, put on our britches, and look in the mirror and say, "Oh, I can do this."
I know some people that don't even put on their britches anymore. It's a whole new world out there, John Carter. I mean, it's
when you sit down, right?
The documentary film that
Yes.
comes out December 5th, 6th, and 7th, theaters across the country.
Yeah.
Tell us about this.
Well, there's a lot of great documentaries out there to know my father. But if it comes back around to what's the story that he wanted told?
Yeah.
If he were here today, what would he choose? And that would be one that focused on his spirituality. My father, he was religious by nature, and he studied the scriptures. He was an ordained minister. He had an honorary doctorate that was well earned, actually. I've got hundreds of pages that he wrote, studying the scriptures. And so this documentary film focuses on his spirituality, and it focuses on his spiritual understanding, and tries to shed a little light into the true nature of a simple man that's maybe, he was complicated, there's no doubt, and I think, but the truth is quite simple. He was a man of love and faith, and so that's easy to see when you watch this movie. And if you really want to know my father, I believe that this documentary specifically is the one to watch.
One of the most beloved people ever in the music industry. I think we've got a little bit of just a clip from the film.
My Aunt Joanne, she went back to Dyess, Arkansas, when she filmed this segment, where my father and her were raised, and went back to the home that has been refurbished back to its original standing. She connects every time that she goes there. But this gives a little bit of insight into the heart of this film. So.
Let's watch it.
Walking back in this home is so bittersweet for me. There was such love in this house, and tears, and hard work. Remembering is sweet, and it's very heartbreaking. It's very emotional for me. They were given the house and the land and a mule and 40 acres to farm.
And in this film, you've got some pretty notable people. Marty Stewart, Winona Judd are some of the people that are featured talking about your dad and connecting to him. Greg Laurie, one of the most prominent pastors in the country, had a special relationship with your dad, didn't he?
Yeah, definitely so. And Dad and my mother both, they had certain people in their fold that they brought in and considered them to be family, even though they might not have been blood. And most of the people that have that insight that are in this film, Greg included, knew my mother and father as family. And so the insight that they have is distinct and it's purposeful. And I do believe that this film is exactly what my father would like to share about his life.
So many Johnny Cash fans. I don't know of anybody that doesn't love your dad and your mom as well. What will be the biggest surprise that they will find out about the spirituality and the testimony, the connection that Johnny Cash had to God?
Well, my father, of course, he struggled a lot, and my mother, passed away before my father did. And I think one thing that stands out about his spirituality to me so much is that although he had pain, although he lost loved ones that he was close to, like unto Job from the Bible, my father never cursed God and never got angry. And he truly had a great understanding of the life that we live in, and that we're on a fallen plane, and they didn't point a finger and say, "Why did you do this to me?" Yeah. And so hopefully people will see the grace that made up who my father was when they watch this film.
I think it'll be a wonderful tribute to him, and as a Arkansas guy, there's
go.
Nobody that is more beloved. In fact, he's in Statuary Hall as a result of being Arkansas's favorite son.
Yeah.
Nobody is more beloved than Johnny Cash in the state of Arkansas, and rightfully so. John Carter, I hope people will go and see the film December the 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Yeah.
Johnny Cash, The Redemption of an American Icon, exclusively in theaters that date, December 5, 6, and 7. If you want to know more about how to get information and tickets for a showing near you, if you go to Huckabee.tv, we have connections directly to the film, and I sure hope you'll get to see it. Right now, Keith Bilbrey is going to tell us what we have coming up next.
Well, we have weird news you may have missed on In Case You Missed It. That's straight ahead on Huckabee.
Welcome back. Now, from modern art to celebrity perfumes, we've got the news that really stinks on In Case You Missed It. Well, first of all, some modern art news. It has been discovered that the 1941 painting, New York City 1, by Dutch abstract artist Piet Mondrian, has been hanging in museums for 75 years, upside down.
No.
Yeah. Here's what happened. A museum curator found a photo of it in Mondrian's studio with a thicker group of lines on the top, not the bottom. Who knew? Furthermore, who cares?
Trey would have told him that in a minute.
I know, he would have figured that one out.
First time he saw it.
Well, maybe Mondrian had it upside down and he didn't know either. I mean, it is named after New York City, so they should have realized it's been turned in the wrong direction for years, right? Yeah. Next, if there's someone on your Christmas list who already has everything at Cracker Barrel, or who thinks, that's pretty good stuff, isn't it?
That is.
Or who thinks that the stuff in Neiman's catalog is just too cheap, well, then you need the gift guide from Gwyneth Paltrow's website, Goop.com. It's got everything that Hollywood celebrities and people who want to be like them might really wish for. Yeah.
Goop?
Goop, that's the name of the website. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, there are all the usual celebrity necessities that you'd expect, like expensive trips to the spa, designer purses and watches, a gold bar paperweight, and I love this one, neon toilet paper.
I want one of those.
Hey, celebrities do everything with a flair, right? I mean, why not? But there are also some very unique items, like this tufted boudoir chaise lounge. Now, you better lie down on it before you look at the price tag.
That's a bar.
A mere $28,500.
Pocket change for
Pocket
Trey.
change for Trey, yeah. Or if you're a spiritual celebrity who doesn't care about money, this meditation chair, it's only $3,400. I think I'll just keep maybe reaching nirvana in my lazy boy.
There you go. Oh,
like
you can afford a lazy boy? That's
Well, you know, eye on a hog, man. Well, I call this Chanel purse the Catch-22 bag because the price is by request only.
oh.
But if you have to ask, you can't afford it.
Well, Governor, you know, all these expensive items, you remind me of something that happened to me just recently.
What's that?
After years of putting away money, saving everything we could in a savings account, my wife came to me and told me that she had great news. She says, honey, and you know, as only she can say honey.
Yeah.
She says, honey, we finally got money to buy what we've started saving for since 1979.
That's a long time.
Yeah. Well, you could hardly contain the excitement. I mean, it was just electric. I said, you mean a brand new Cadillac? She said, no, a 1979 Cadillac.
I bet it still has some great value.
Well, I thought 79 was a good year for Cadillacs.
It was not a good year for gasoline prices. I do remember that. Well, hey, how about a few budget items? For the pet lover on your list, we got some of those. You can virtue signal your rainbow pride to the world on your dog's forehead for only $50 with the vegan hair color kit for dogs.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And when you walk your dog, so it can release its gender fluid, you'll need the $345 Gucci pet collar and the $410 Gucci leash. Now, I think Gwyneth Paltrow calls this Gucci for your poochie. I personally, for my dogs, I'm just going to stick with Walmart for my woofie.
There you go.
Yeah. And finally, that favorite word you have when we come to this part of the show. We've got a holiday season gift for you. 2 animal videos. First, do you know the Peter Gabriel song, Shock the Monkey?
Oh, yeah.
Well, this is what inspired it right here.
Wow.
The monkey was shocked. He was shocked.
You know you need a new barber when your hair scares monkeys. Yes. And finally, enjoy this video of a cat tasting ice cream for the very first time.
Oh, man. I know that feeling. I know that feeling.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, the moral is don't buy Gwyneth Paltrow's $300 a pint gourmet ice cream for cats. They won't appreciate it. Well, before you start gagging and falling over, we're going to end this segment. But until next time, remember, we read the news.
Well, prepare to be amazed by magician Jason Hudy and later the great root rock sounds of November Blue tonight on Huckabee. Celebrate Thanksgiving in style with Made in the USA Huckabee mugs, t-shirts, and more. Go to Huckabee.tv for 30% off select items, November 23rd through the 27th.
Well, my next guest has performed over 8,000 shows all over the world. He's had national television appearances, Disney cruises, and a 3-month tour of China. And everywhere he goes, he leaves audiences astounded. And he's going to do it tonight, I guarantee. Please welcome the mesmerizing magic of Jason Hudy.
Hey!
Great to have you here, Jason.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
I'd love to show you some magic.
Let's do it.
Okay, it's actually with the best-selling toy of all time.
Which
It's
is?
also the most frustrating toy of all time.
Got to be the Rubik's
The Rubik's Cube,
Yeah, of
that's
course.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried to solve one of these things?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, were you successful?
Of course not.
Not. I'll give you the secret.
Okay.
I'll give everyone the secret. Don't tell anyone. But the hardest part of solving a Rubik's Cube is once you get those stickers peeled off, to line them up centered again, they know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
There are 43 quintillion different combinations to a Rubik's Cube. This one looks different from this one, 43 quintillion. That number is so big, we could turn the cube one time like that every second. It would take over 65 million years to get to all of the different combinations. Now, the guy who invented it was a guy by the name of Erno Rubik in 1974. He invented the cube and thought it might be impossible to solve. If he thought it was impossible to solve, he'd be amazed to see this.
Aha. Aha.
4 people are impressed. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they think you scammed them.
Everyone else says, yeah,
that's
2 cubes in the bag.
Oh, there's not?
Oh. Now
I thought there was another one in
somewhere.
there. I thought you were scamming me too.
Well, let's kick it up a notch. So this time you're gonna turn it, okay?
Oh, no.
So turn it one direction or mix it just like that, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, do that.
Just do it, okay?
Exactly, keep on going.
Okay.
Don't try to solve it, just kind of keep it, then turn it a different way and mix it a different direction.
No challenge.
Exactly. Every time that you turn it, it's a different one of 43 quintillion. Keep on going.
Okay.
43 quintillion different combinations.
Wow.
When you're all done, you can place it in my hand.
Okay.
I can do this one.
Okay.
Watch, it's gonna be unbelievable. Inside the bag, it's a little bit harder because you mix it up. Snap of the finger and it comes out once again, completely solved. Yeah.
That same one I just gave you.
You know what's really amazing? That time there were 2 cubes.
Oh.
Magic!
I'm kind of glad because I was thinking there's no way that just happened.
Put your cube in your hand like this.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, this one was yours, cool.
Oh,
and
okay.
curl up your fingers, cover it up like this.
All right.
Cool. When people think of a solved cube, this is what they think of, solid colors on every side.
Yeah.
There's a different way to solve one of these things. Lift up your hand.
Okay.
Without dropping, put your fingers straight.
Like what?
Put these fingers straight.
Oh, like that?
Yeah, so
okay.
I can actually see what you did here.
Nothing.
Well,
I hadn't done nothing.
fingers up,
Okay.
cover up the top. 19, 21, 23, 25.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, no. 26, no. 27. 27! I think that is a solved cube. It doesn't look like much at the moment. But if I can borrow back the one that you mixed up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Take a look at...
No way.
You see it? Yeah.
Whoa.
Take a look at that. That's
Whoa.
side number 1. There is side number 2, yes?
Yes.
Side number 3 is also a match, which means that side number 4 will be a match.
It's
The bottom is 5, yeah?
Wow.
And the 6.
Exactly.
Exactly. Now you can clap because that's hard to do.
That's hard to do.
Thanks. Your turn.
Oh,
Your
my
turn
turn.
to solve the cube.
Okay.
Now, I don't want you to turn it like this, okay?
Okay.
What I just showed you takes years and years of practice. You're gonna solve it by magic. You don't even have to look at it. I'll hand it to you behind your back and you'll turn it like this. You see what I'm
Okay.
doing?
Yeah.
I know it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Put a
doesn't.
cube behind your back and turn it, but it's a magic show. So
All right.
face the audience, yeah.
Here we
Hands
go.
behind your back. I want you to turn it maybe like 15 or 18, 20 times, somewhere
Okay.
around there. Exactly, just like that.
like
Imagine
that.
every time you do it gets closer and closer to being solved. 15, 18, 20 times. When you're done, leave it behind your back, stop turning it, just let me know when you've stopped so I know.
Okay. I think that's probably 18 times.
18 times.
Yeah.
You took a mixed up cube,
Yeah.
turned it behind your back about 18 times.
I think so.
Bring it out and show it to us.
For real?
Yeah.
Okay. Whoa!
Show them all 6 sides. Hey,
Yeah.
he's got it.
I'm better than I thought.
You've got a future.
I'm
at
amazing.
this.
I'm amazing. Who knew how good I
I
was?
better watch my back. You're gonna.
Wow.
Yeah, that's great.
That's pretty awesome.
Hey, we got something big back here if you want to see it as well.
I do.
Why don't you
I'll probably
head
go
over
down
to
there.
the audience?
Okay.
I'm going to show you something awesome. Check this out.
I'm trying to figure that one out. That's pretty awesome. Wow. Hey, if you want to see more of the amazing Jason Hudy, visit Huckabee.tv. We will connect you, and I have a feeling you'll be blown away. How he did that, I have no idea. Right now, I don't have any idea what Keith is about to tell us, but I'm sure it's going to be great. It may not be magic, but it'll be fantastic.
I'm speechless. Oh, yeah, Mike talks to the Hot Roots rock group November Blue, and then they perform live right here on Huckabee. Next week, learn how America became an economic powerhouse. And we will kick off the holidays with We Need a Lot of Christmas. That's next week on Huckabee.
You know, I know that our audience was listening to Whiter Shade of Pale that Trey and the band were playing, and they were thinking back when they were in their prom. Because I guarantee you, everybody in this audience who's as old as me or older, you heard that song when you were a teenager, and you loved it then and you still love it now because it's a great, great rock anthem, right? Well, you know, I love music, as you know, and this band that we've got tonight, I absolutely think they're one of the hottest things going in music. They combine classic country and rock music. They are a special musical guest tonight. I've been watching their videos, and I am so just jazzed that they are here tonight. Because if you like classic country and also rock music, harmony vocals like the Eagles of the Birds, I promise you're going to absolutely love tonight's musical guest. They started in Pennsylvania, and they're still counting votes up there, but they started in Pennsylvania. But now their home is in Nashville since 2019. Their latest album is called Find Yourself an Astronaut, which I find an amazing title. Their upcoming release is called Come Back. You're going to hear a little of that later. Please welcome to the show a phenomenal band, November Blue. Very good to have you guys here.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for having us.
You have fantastic harmonies. That's one of the trademarks. 6 members of the band. Dylan, was that what you wanted to do when you put the band together? I mean, when you guys all started working?
Yeah, it was something that we just felt was very natural for all of us. You know, it started Tom and I, and started the band, and then went to college together, and just added more guys, and everyone could sing, so we said, why not? Yeah.
Well, it's working beautifully. Tom, if I said, what are the big musical influences on November Blue? What would the main influences be?
Oh man, it's vast. And you can tell when you listen to our music. There's a lot of 70s guys up here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Americana, some gospel.
Yeah.
Anything harmony-based is our bread and butter. Yeah.
And is there any particular sound that when you're playing, you hope people will say, boy, that's different, that's unique? What would it be?
We get compared to the Eagles a lot. So if the Eagles are unique,
yeah,
and us.
And they are.
Yeah. But we're always flattered to hear that.
Hey, look, the Eagles are getting old. Somebody's got to replace them. Guys,
yeah.
It might as well be you.
I hope so.
One of the things that impresses me is that you've been working with Michael Omartian to put your sound together. How cool is that?
Unreal. One of the best. Yeah.
I mean, he's forgotten more than most people have ever learned in the music business. Yeah. So tell me about working with him, and what kind of things did he say to you? I'll throw this one at you. Right. What kind of things did he say? Here's how to get it better.
He pretty said, hey, dude, do it a little better than that. Omar, he's an unbelievable musician, an unbelievable ear, an unbelievable guy. But yeah, above it all, he's just one of the sweetest, nicest humans that we've ever encountered. And when we met him, it wasn't, I'm Grammy Award-winning producer Michael Omartian. No, He just said, call me Omar, and that's what we did. And, we're still in touch with him. Yeah. We'll still call him or text him whenever we can. We hope he's doing well.
The fact that he wanted to work with you is the greatest affirmation of your skills that I could possibly think of. Because he could say no to anybody. And he's only said yes to the people who have just charted on up to the very top. So I think it's indicative of the fact that he sees something in you. One of the things that I've noticed is the musicianship that all of you possess. You are all phenomenal musicians as well as singers.
Thank you.
So do you play a variety of instruments other than the ones that we're going to see tonight?
Oh,
Yeah.
I'd say, yeah.
I'd say we all dabble in like piano, keys
Yeah.
a little bit. Then again, we're all singers, and Alex, he plays pedal steel, but he started on guitar.
And I love the fact that in your band, you have a steel guitar. I mean, there's just some things that can't be done without it.
Absolutely.
And so you're the one that won't get fired.
I guess not. No, I'm
Yeah.
still around, so I guess
Yeah,
it's good.
they can't fire you. The rest of them, you know, they're toast on any given day. But you, Alex, you've got it made. So when people are listening to the new album, I've got to ask about this song about the astronaut. Where in the world did that come from?
Oh, yeah, I guess I don't want to divulge too much information, but it's about a couple I knew.
Okay.
And, yeah, it's...
Are we going to have to leave that one on the floor here?
I have to cut this out.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. It's about a couple I knew, and it was kind of unrealistic expectations from both sides.
It's called marriage.
Oh.
That's what, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm a little too young for that. But,
All these people out here get it. They sure do.
no, but it was about unrealistic expectations and kind of a relationship that's almost doomed because you're kind of with the wrong person, even though you really care for the person. And it was just kind of, yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of a shot in the dark.
We're just going to have to listen to it to really
Gonna
get
have
it.
to listen to it.
Well, what a tease to get your album. What a great sales pitch. I'm with it all the way. We're excited to have you guys. Can't wait to hear you. This audience is going to absolutely love you, as will the TV audience. Thank you for being here. We're thrilled to get to have you with us, and we hope we'll see you many, many more times. Right now, Keith Bilbrey is standing over there. He really wants to tell you all about this band and how to get their music. And he's going to do that right now and tell you how to get the music of November Blue.
Just go to Huckabee.tv for links to the band's website and music and to see an exclusive performance of their single Blossom Eyes. Now, performing Come Back, here's November Blue.
Driving in circles, parking where nobody can see. When your friends ask who's that, you say you don't know me. Keeping me guessing, playing both sides of the fence. Yeah, we've crossed that line too many times. No, it don't make sense. No, it don't. So if you wanna come back, baby, do it already. Don't tell me that you love me, then go change your mind. If you wanna come back, baby, do it already. Say it's me or say goodbye. Hold my hand under the table like you're doing me a favor, saying that it's nothing to lie. Yeah, you kiss me when you're drinking, never tell me what you're thinking. I'm sick of all these one last time. So if you wanna come back, baby, do it already. Don't tell me that you love me, then go change your mind. If you wanna come back, baby, do it already. Say it's me or say goodbye. Say goodbye. Say goodbye. So if you wanna come back, baby, do it already. Don't tell me that you love me, then go change your mind. If you wanna come back, baby, do it already. Say it's me or say